I taught my first lesson plan when I was about 5 years old. The main objective was for my student to build on previous knowledge of crib standing by learning climbing techniques and then extending those climbing techniques to escape the crib. My only student was my 18-month-old little brother, and the lesson plan only lasted about 25 minutes, as he was a quick learner. I will never forget my mother's reaction the first time my little brother wobbled into her bedroom at 7 a.m. alone. She called me in from my room and asked if I had let Tommy out of his crib. Beaming with pride, I explained how I had taught him all by myself to get out of the crib without help. Though my mother explained to me the dangers of Tommy being able to escape his crib alone, she couldn't help but show a little bit of pride herself. My mother was a preschool teacher and is now an aide in her sister Mary's 5th grade classroom. My Nana's sisters are all teachers, and 3 out of 4 of my father's siblings are teachers as well. Needless to say, teaching is something that runs in my blood, and since I did not want to be an engineer like my 2 brothers, my family constantly reminded me that I too would someday become a teacher. I have always enjoyed working with children, but their certainty that it would be my future career made it less appealing, and I was sure that there was something I would love more. No matter how hard I would rebel against my family's ideas of what I should or would be when I grew up, I always seemed to find my way back to some sort of teaching. My first job was as a cashier at Stop and Shop. I hated it more than anything, but I needed money. My job never left me feeling like I really helped anyone at all, and that bothered me a bit. After about a year and a half of bringing up other people's food and mindlessly stocking shelves, I found myself interviewing for a job as a sailing instructor for my town's recreation program. I've been sailing since I was 7, and though I never really loved it, getting paid to sit in a boat and hang out with kids and get a tan was an offer I could never refuse. When I first began teaching sailing, the program had 2 poorly taken care of boats and only 1 other instructor. There was only 1 class level, the kids never even sailed alone in the boats, and hardly ever learned much. I took over the program fully after my first year, and by the end of my 5 years there, we had 8 boats, 4 instructors total, and students racing in regattas once a summer. It was really satisfying to see the same kids sign up for my program year after year and week after week. I prepared lessons and planned themes for certain days, a favorite of which was Pirate Day, where we would sail and explore an island. This past summer, one of my students got the first place trophy in his fleet in the regatta we sail. Being a sailing instructor had its challenges, but it gave me a sense of just how much change I could make in a child's life in such a short time. Though sailing was cool and all, what really made the difference for me in my decision to consider becoming a teacher was working with the special needs preschoolers in my town. I began substituting for aides in several special needs classrooms after my sophomore year. I remember coming home from preschool one day and telling my mother about a little girl, Barbara, who could only walk with a walker but would never use it on the playground. I admired her so much for her courage and determination to be just like the rest of the mainstream children. As I finished telling her about Barbara and the many others in my classes that overcame amazing difficulties on a daily basis, my mother again asked why I did not want to be a teacher. I had no answer for her. "I never see you light up brighter than when you talk about these kids," she said. It was then that something really clicked. Maybe I was supposed to do what my family had always anticipated. Maybe working with these kids is what I did love most after all.